Hey guys, real quick before the video starts, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some potential savings that I have for you. If you are into the CX or GL series bikes, you might be familiar with Rejuve Motorcycles. So they've reached out to me and they've given me a code to extend to you guys for 10% off of any of their products. They make exhaust systems, some foot pegs, they make a lot of things, a full monoshock conversion kit, so you can do like a bolt-on monoshock for your CX500, and they are a YSS suspension dealer. So anyway, I'm going to put the code in the description, and you guys follow that. Either follow the link, enter the code, save you 10%, and it's a win-win-win for everybody. So anyway, back to the video. Hey everybody, thank you for clicking. In this video, I have a nice custom seat pan we're making on this GL650 here, so don't miss it. Enjoy the video. Alright, we finished up the regulator rectifier mount underneath the seat pan, and now it's time for me to get back on the seat. So before I did so, though, had to go switch out the hats. I had the nice brick house hat on, and we don't want to get that thing dirty. So anyway, had to get on the old Hulk cat from my buddy Caleb. So anyway, we're on the seat pan, and this was just roughed out when I first built it. So what I want to do is start trimming it down, and the way I do my seat pans is I like to lay them on top the hoop. So I'm going to lay this or cut this back to line up almost exactly in the middle of the diameter of the tube. And then once we get upholstery on it, it'll come a little bit past that, but it'll still be within the edge of the tube, which is what I want. So some thoughts and ideas for the seat pan though. If you can imagine, think of like, if you look at a dirt bike from the back, they usually have a seat that kind of like tapers in on the top and then has kind of a cool little transitional section here that molds in with the fuel tank, and usually they're kind of edgy. So if you can imagine, what I want to do here is follow this line down and then have like a narrower section here. I'm going to build a cage off the pan. I'm going to have like a narrower section here, and then try to bring that line down visually to like have a transition or taper into the rest of the seat. It'll make sense once I start building it. I have to figure out how to build it, but probably going to use maybe like 1/4 inch or 3/16 inch rod and build like a little cage up and out, and then maybe if I can try to sheet metal that in. I've done one before like that, so we'll see how this goes. So with the seat shape itself, what I want is like maybe like an angle like this in the back, and then for the seat to come and be either flat to create like a larger portion here. I want to create a little bit more visual weight because it's a pretty large tank. So create a little bit of a either flat, maybe a slight taper, and then it's going to come out and then come up to about here on the tank, I'm hoping. So maybe a slight downward grade and then flat. So I think it'll be really cool looking, and it'll have like a real cool dirt bike vibe to it. And then hopefully whenever we upholster it, I can do maybe like some gripper vinyl or something like that, something you would see on a dirt bike. And who knows, maybe we can play with some colors. We're not there yet. Have to build the seat pan first. So I'm gonna get started and get to cutting and trimming. Alright, so I'm on the seat pan here. I have a little crossbar welded in, drilled, and then I took some bolts and then welded them in through the top of the pan here. Got them pretty flush. But anyway, we have the pan trimmed and we have it fitting, at least kind of locked into a pretty close location to where it's going to reside. So up front here, there's going to be a little bit of slack. So what I want to do next is start building up on this cage. So I'm going to use, I've got some 3/16 round bar here, and this line right about here, I'm going to bring it from the front of the pan out around the side of the back of the tank here. I've already just slightly bent this down a little bit tighter just so the seat pan would clear, but this is going to be the exact line at the bottom of the tank here. So I'll run a piece up on either side, and then I'm going to go ahead and bend up like a hoop that will give me the line that I want on the top part. I'll weld that hoop to here, and then from there it's just a matter of building in, running a couple other lines and starting to form that shape, and then hopefully like boxing it in with like sheet metal or something like that. So as of now, get the old micrometer out and just start eyeballing and bending and tweaking and then getting this tacked up. So it's going to take a little while. These are definitely a little bit longer projects, but this is a more complicated seat pan than most. So anyway, also as far as the seat pan's concerned, I know if you guys have been watching the channel, you see like the CX build. That one had like an actual key, like a hidden release mechanism and stuff like that. I chose to keep this one just really simple because you're not really ever going to have to pull the seat pan off. There's nothing underneath that you need to access. I mean, you have your regulator rectifier, but that's going to be it. So there's not like an electronics tray and your fuses or anything like that. So it's not like a critical thing to have to just be able to remove real quick. So that's why I have just the most basic of mountings on this. So once it's mounted, unless you have a mega issue, you got to pull the tank off or something, you're not going to have to pull it back off. So anyway, let me get started. Alright, so I've got this piece cut, bent, and it's looking pretty, it's looking pretty equal. So just bending it along the side, I have a curve so it goes forward, and that's going to be to help follow the curve of the tank here. So I know this angle isn't going to do it all the justice in the world, but imagine, if you will, another bar or a hard line, more of like a body line, coming straight back from here and then transitioning like almost just in a straight line, maybe like a slight curve downwards is for a little shape, but out into this area, and then you'll have like a flat triangle on this side that'll kind of match the rest of the shape of the bike and give it a little bit more visual weight in the back here. And it's, when you look at it from the back, it's going to have kind of a cool taper inwards, and just it should look really cool. I have a vision in my head, So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and tack these corners, and I'm going to make sure that, again, you're not going to be able to see all of this, but I want to make sure that I bring this up off the tank a little bit. I want to leave as tight a gap as I can, but one thing I have to consider is that when I undo the mounts here to pull the seat off, it has to rock forward, meaning this is going to get close to the tank. So what I'll do is tack this, see if I can make it work. I'll tack it, undo these bolts, see if I can rock the seat off and and estimate room for material to be wrapped around this, and go from there. So I'm gonna tack it and go. Just use a little aluminum spacer here, kind of give me a little guide. Yeah, follows the contour there, and then just gives us a little gap. You can almost fit your fingers in there. Let's see if this can come off. Should be able to. The studs in the back here aren't that long, so there's not a whole lot of vertical travel the rear of the seat has to have. Oh yeah. Perfect. Just enough. I'm telling you, I got this vision in my head. This thing's gonna be cool looking. I'm gonna keep jamming away on this. All right. Okay, the final piece of the puzzle for the seat pan here is to box in this section, and that's in order to have something for the foam to adhere to, as well as having like your material wrapped around, you know, whatever your upholsterer is going to do. Mine typically glues them to the bottom, so he's going to have something here to glue to from the underside. So I've already got my plates cut out. They're going to fit in nice and snug into these corners. And we're not going to do a full weld all the way around. I'm going to just do a couple little sections of weld here and get them buzzed in, and then we'll be done. Fit pretty good if they just hang out like that. Alright guys, that does it for the seat pan. This thing is wrapped up. Just have it welded where we really need to. It doesn't have to be like a full bead all the way around, anything like that. So very simple here, a flat panel with a little bit of a cage and then just a couple bolts welded through on some very simple brackets. You can see there's nothing up front here other than this tab right here. I can bend that up and keep the vertical tension on it that I want. So we're going to have just enough room here to leave room for the material to wrap around the seat, and if it's not enough, we can adjust that. So anyway, very simple. Hopefully this was helpful on giving you some ideas and maybe some tips and tricks on how to make your own seat pan. But I always stress on a lot of pages to try to build your own seats, because you make the seat to fit the bike, and you're not trying to build a bike and make a wonky, you know, $30 Amazon seat, try to fit it. I know this is more expensive and I know it's a lot more work, but the end result is far more worth it in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to quit rambling. I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you tune in on the next one, because we have a lot more to do to this bike, and this thing is going to be awesome. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.